We are indeed very fortunate to have George and to all the speakers who found the time to join us today. And importantly to yourselves, our delegates are very important to us. So good morning and welcome to FSTC 2026, Financial Services Tax Conference 2026. We're in our 8th year now, and I really have to congratulate the team. It goes from strength to strength. And each year, those of you who have been here before, I open the proceedings with some discussion or some matter that is occupying my thoughts at that time. And this year is no different, except perhaps it is different. Because the matter occupying me this year is whether I should, in fact, be occupying you rather less. The growing realization has been assisted, not least, and not for the first time, by my wife's ministrations. She recently reminded me of Polonius's advice in Hamlet, "Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice." So it is, I fear, excellent advice. And it is rather painfully apt for people like us, because we spend a great deal of our professional lives being asked what we think. Clients look to us for judgment, clarity, sometimes challenge, and often reassurance. That is a privilege, but it carries a small danger. We can start to believe that our value lies in how quickly we speak rather than how well we listen. Indeed, the best professionals are often made of quieter stuff. They listen before they pronounce. They ask before they assert. They resist the temptation to fill every silence with the sound of their own certainty. And perhaps this matters beyond our own professional world. Those of you who keep a keen eye on geopolitics will know or will have noted that the world at large does not appear to be short of noise or opinions or people ready to tell you exactly what they think. What we seem to have far less of these days is the willingness to pause, to consider why someone may see the world differently from us, to try, even briefly, to understand a perspective very different from our very own. Atticus Finch puts it memorably into Kill a Mockingbird. You never really understand a person until you consider things from their point of view. That is not to say that we should agree with everything we hear. Far from it. Some views should absolutely be challenged and some arguments tested hard. But we should at least attempt to understand before we reach for the verdict. This is worth remembering not only in public life or in our professional lives, or for that matter in our homes. But that is the thought I want to offer today at the outset of this year's FSTC. Our work improves when listening becomes an active craft. I don't mean listening as a bit of professional politeness, etiquette, nor do I mean waiting for the other person to stop talking just so that we can jump in there with what we were planning to say anyway. I mean listening attentively, asking better questions, and slowing ourselves down enough to understand what is really being said to us. This feels especially true in tax at the moment. In the world of tax, there is a lot coming at our clients. New rules, shifting expectations, and ever tighter timetables, and very little certainty. Often our clients are being asked to make important decisions while the ground is still moving beneath them. And our clients do not usually come to us with everything neatly packaged. This isn't a comment on any particular client in the room, just to be clear. They come with pressure, with urgency, sometimes with only half the facts, sometimes with politics in the background, often with a question that turns out not to be the real question at all. So our job is not simply to answer too quickly. It is to listen carefully, enough to understand what we are really being asked. And perhaps there is something rather fitting about saying that here at the Royal College of Surgeons. As George mentioned, downstairs, the Hunterian Museum reminds us of a profession that is built on observation, precision, curiosity, and care. Surgery, at its best, is not haste with a sharp instrument. It is disciplined attention before intervention. I'm not suggesting that the analogy between tax and surgery should be taken too far, although I fear that some clients may protest that they both involve pain, exposure, and a surprisingly large bill at the end. There are some shared lessons, though, between surgery and taxation. Before we advise, we must understand. Before we intervene, we must examine. And before we speak, we must listen. And that, in many ways, is why I care so deeply about FSTC. Those of you who know about FSTC, this annual conference, flagship conference of ours, it is a labor of love. It is something that I do every year with the team. There's a dedicated team. And much to the annoyance of my CFO, who asks pertinent questions like ROI and so on, I say, what the hell with the ROI? My daughter, who's basically sussed me out completely, she says, this is the Ali Kazimi show. You line up all the people you want to listen to, and you give it the color of a tax conference. And I must admit, that is the case. I know you're getting a bit shifting. Don't worry, I'm not going to be very long, okay? I do care a lot about FSTC. And WTS Hansuke's Financial Services Tax Conference is genuinely unlike any other tax conference. And I say that as someone who attends a fair few of them. FSTC has always had a different energy. Its purpose is not simply to fill a program with technical content, tax technical content, important though that is. Its purpose is to assemble some of the best minds in one room. People with vision, experience, judgment, and opinions, and to create the conditions for something exciting and dynamic to happen. The magic of this conference happens not only on this stage, it is sprinkled in the conversations that are going to take place in between the sessions. It comes from the challenge, from the floor. It is found in the willingness of people here to listen, to test, to disagree, and just sometimes to change our thinking. That is rare, and that is precious. What also stands out for me, and I want to say this properly, is the attention to detail that goes into making FSTC what it is. That it is not accidental. It is not simply booked, branded, and delivered. It is cared for, it is nurtured. Yesterday, I was with the team as they were meticulously applying the final touches to today's program. And I mean meticulously. Every detail had been considered. The flow of the day, the experience of the delegates, the feel of the room, and even the background music. There is, I'm told, a FSTC 2026 playlist, carefully curated. Even the background music has been chosen with intent. Vitamin String Quartet, remember that, no less, who are an excellent US band. So yes, even the violins have been briefed. Now, some may say that is excessive. I say that it tells you something about the care behind this conference. It tells you that your time is respected. You're not merely a name on a conference list, but a person who has chosen to spend your day with us. And I thank you for that. And this rings true with everything that WTS Hansuke stands for, whether it is FSTC or delivering capital markets advice, tax advice, assurance work. So yes, we are here for tax today. We are here for technical excellence. We are here for insight, debate, and challenge. But we are also here for something slightly larger, the possibility of a better conversation. At a time when so much public conversation feels loud, fast, and rather too certain of itself, perhaps this room can do something better. And we should bring strong views forward. That is part of the point. But we should also bring enough humility to listen. So with Polonius in mind, Atticus Finch lending a little moral support, and the Royal College of Surgeons reminding us of the virtues of careful examination, and importantly, my wife's sound counsel, I shall try to practice what I'm preaching. I shall give you my ear and only a little of my voice. Welcome to FSTC.
I may welcome you very warmly here to the amazing conference Ali and his team, together with the Global Service Line for Financial Services, have organized again. It has been really a cornerstone in the conference area here in London. And I have to say, every year again, it brings together bright minds, it creates great ideas, and I always love the conversations, get in touch with you, get your views, get the industry view. And the industry view is changing as so the world is. In the last 12 months, I think we have seen a lot of change. We will see even more in the next 12 months on the political side, on the industry side, but also within WTS. I mean, I will not comment on the political side because otherwise we stay here for half of the day. And I will also not comment too much on the industry side because therefore we have amazing speakers and representatives from the industry today. But I think one thing is clear, there is change, there is pressure. And the question is not how we deal with that in some way. The question is how we can use the change as our advantage. How can we derive our strategy and our response based on the factors that are changing? I think AI is one element which is pretty important here. Other things are integrity. Other things are transparency. We will hear a lot during the day. And the thing I'm really deeply in, and I would like to share with you, is certainly also the development within WTS Global. I mean, many of you have seen the news that we are investing even more in the UK now. 1st of July, we will start with another operation which will be big. Since last summer, we are partnering with EQT, Europe's largest private equity firm. We are meanwhile number one after Big Four in Germany and about to take over Deloitte. We are represented in more than 100 countries around the world, so we have absolutely global reach. And we have long-standing members and friends which really support our development in particular areas. So, for example, as with Ali and Hansuke here in the UK, I'm absolutely happy that Ali last year decided to come even closer to WTS Global. He even changed the branding, therefore you now see WTS Hansuke. And together, I think on the FS market in London and in the world, we should be able to provide good services, deep insights, and great results for you as our clients. So having said this, I'm very excited for the next 12 months. You will see a lot and hear a lot from our side. And now I'm even more interested to get your insights and more than happy to open the conference and listen to the first panel. Thank you very much.